Thank you, Honourable Speaker, sir. Honourable Speaker, sir, I thank the Honourable Assistant Minister, the Honourable Naisa Tunadeva, for the question. Mr. Speaker, sir, one of the most significant reforms introduced under the revised National Disaster Risk Management Act of 2024 is the expansion of Fiji's disaster management framework to address not only natural hazards such as tropical cyclones, flooding, earthquakes, and related events, but also man-made hazards and human-induced emergencies. This now includes complex and emerging threats such as aircraft crashes, industrial accidents, supply chain disruptions, and other crises that may threaten national stability, public welfare, and the community of essential services. Mr. Speaker, sir, this reform is both timely and necessary. It recognizes a simple but critical reality in the sense that modern crises are no longer single-sector events, they are system-wide risks. Increasingly, global conflicts, economic shocks, fuel supply disruptions, cyber incidents, and other external events can have direct humanitarian consequences for small and open economies such as Fiji. Mr. Speaker, sir, the current global fuel situation, driven by the geopolitical tension between the United States of America and the Islamic Republic of Iran, continues to create uncertainty in international oil markets and in the supply of crude oil to countries that depend heavily on imported fuel. For a small, open, and import-dependent economy like Fiji, this presents a direct national risk, particularly in our electricity generation, transport and logistics, maritime connectivity, food distribution system, and essential public services. Government has therefore acted decisively by activating the Fuel and Power Emergency Act of 1974, appointing a fuel controller who is the Permanent Secretary for Public Works, Meteorological Services, Transport, and implementing a fuel emergency action plan. That plan includes provision for fuel management measures, the strategic use of national reserves, fuel rationing if required, and the prioritization of fuel to essential sectors so that critical services to the public can continue uninterrupted to the greatest extent possible. Mr. Speaker, sir, fuel is not simply an economic commodity, it is a background of our national system. A disruption in fuel supply and or higher fuel cost may trigger cascading impacts on the following: transport and logistics through increasing bus, taxi, trucks, and shipping costs; energy and utilities through diesel for generators, water pumping station, and backup power; the agriculture sector and food through farm inputs delivery, land preparation, and food transportation; fisheries and maritime transport through both fuel shortage and few fishing trips and maritime travel; industry and businesses through production slowdown and higher operating costs; in the tourism sector through airport transfers, tour, hotel operation, and food supply cost. Mr. Speaker, sir, this higher cost of moving and producing goods, services, food, and essential services will further be cascading down to increasing the retail price of goods and services, slower public service delivery, and slower development project implementation. The economy's wide impact may include inflation, high cost of living, increased unemployment, increasing government subsidies, and possible reduction in foreign reserves. Recognizing these wider humanitarian implications, Cabinet has approved the activation of the Fiji Humanitarian Cluster System to strengthen national preparedness, anticipate the wider impacts of any prolonged disruption, and to support the fuel controller in managing the wider national response. Mr. Speaker, sir, the Fiji Humanitarian Cluster System is a whole of government and whole of society, multi-sectorial and multi-stakeholder coordination platform comprising of 9 clusters. These clusters are led by the relevant government ministries and permanent secretaries and supported by local partners, civil society organizations, faith-based group, development agency, and international partners. Its core function is to ensure that all sectors act in a coordinated, prioritized, and evidence-driven manner on key national priorities such as health, security, education, infrastructure, food security, social protection, and community welfare during times of crisis. Last week, the Ministry of Rural and Maritime Development and National Disaster Risk Management convened all 9 clusters to finalize their cluster contingency plans together with the fuel prioritization framework. These plans are aligned to the 4 stages outlined under the Fuel Emergency Action Plan and clearly identify the actions, responsibilities, and interventions required at each level of escalation. The fuel prioritization framework will assist the fuel controller in ensuring that hospitals, emergency services, utilities, maritime links, transport networks, and other critical sectors receive priority support where necessary. In addition, Mr. Speaker, sir, the clusters will provide weekly situation reports to government so that decisions remain timely, informed, and responsive to challenging conditions on the ground. This will ensure that policy decisions continue to be guided by evidence, real-time assessments, and the needs of our people. Mr. Speaker, sir, this approach reflects government's proactive, responsible, and forward-looking leadership towards crisis management. We remain hopeful that the international tensions will ease and that global oil supply chains will stabilize. Mr. Speaker, sir, we are not waiting for the crisis to worsen before taking action. We are preparing before it escalates. This is the difference between reactive governance and strategic and anticipatory government. Government's priority is clear, Mr. Speaker, sir. We need to protect essential services, safeguard key infrastructure and livelihoods, maintain national stability, and ensure no Fijian is left behind. Mr. Speaker, sir, Fiji is preparing early, acting responsibility, and standing ready to respond in the national interest through the activation of the Fiji humanitarian cluster system, and government will continue to ensure that the needs of all Fijians are met during this challenging time. I thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir.